Dun, 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 like as he's like leaning in and out of it. Stop! I will kill you.
Anyways, welcome to the podcast, y'all. It's your boy Jethro, Zachariah Jethro Gilbert.
You said your full name.
Yeah.
Just all right out there, right across the board. Just
Yeah.
Zachariah Jethro Gilbert.
Fuck it, yeah. There's Zachariah J. Gilbert. You can say whatever you want, bro. But that's my
What
name.
was the other nickname you used to have? DJ Gilly Z.
DJ Gilly Z.
That would be your radio show name. It's like, it's DJ Gilly Z.
No, this is the DJ Gilly Z. Gilly Z. You know what I mean?
Oh, man. And, yeah, it's me, Austin. Nowhere near the... I don't even know the word I was going to say. But anyways.
It's a buck.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that you're keeping it 100. I mean that was a letdown of a sentence.
Well, I lost where I was going with it, in the middle of it.
Anyways, fuck all that because I got some things I gotta get off my mind today. Okay. It's gonna sound fucking weird at first, but I was actually on your shitter earlier. I was sitting down on your shitter, and I was thinking about my time that I spent on the Appalachian Trail, and I thought about the privies and stuff like that with no, water, nothing like that. You just kind of pooped in a hole and wiped and threw it in there. You know what I mean? You'd have toilet paper and you'd have a baby wipe. You'd have to, bro. Otherwise, you get dysentery.
And if you're out of the wipe, it's just your bare hand.
Yeah. Sorry, if you didn't hear me clearly, it's dysentery. That's what you would get. So, just like in Pulp Fiction. He died of dysentery, gave me the watch. But, anyways, that thought led to basically the hypothesis that without toilets, we'd be fucking barbarians. You know what I'm saying?
We go hard on Earth.
But do you see what I'm saying, Austin?
Yes, I do see what you're saying. In a way, but I mean there's certain other things that humans have done that kind of like even before we had toilets, where we were kind of no longer really barbarians.
No.
When we actually when humans actually started instead of just randomly killing whatever animal we could find, just hunting and just slaughtering that animal, and then we ended up actually coming up with farming, raising cows and actually getting more organized with it and actually doing it that way, basic farming, planting stuff instead of just hunting and gathering just whatever the hell we could find.
Well, I mean, the thing about toilets, the reason that joke is funny to me, that when that thought sprung in my head out of fucking nowhere, the reason that was funny to me is because it's true, if you've ever seen the episode of The Twilight Zone, the monsters are due on Maple Street. We had to actually read that when I was in 6th grade. We had to read that and watch the episode after we read it. But basically, this street in a suburban neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, sees this fucking thing fly over.
Yeah.
And they all kind of just shrug it off and say whatever, or well, no, they don't say. They were like, what was that, or whatever, and their power starts to get fucked with, and cars lose their ability to run, and then suddenly individual people's cars start running out of nowhere, and every time it fluctuates either way. They blame whoever is getting the fortune of it. So basically, whoever's car starts and nobody else's car is starting, they are like, why is this happening? Why don't you explain it to us? And so basically, by the end, they're all running into each other's house saying, it was this person, it's this person. It's a scapegoat mentality. Yeah. And they all basically start killing each other because the lights went out.
that, I mean, yeah, I mean, think about it that way. Like, you could have, like, a blackout happen, and just because, like, you know, like a blackout happens, you got, like, all power shut down, like, in, like, a whole city.
Yeah.
You realize how many people would actually, like, take
Probably
the
riot.
Like, no, not even riot. Like, well, maybe a riot in a sense, but just I think more likely you just have the people who are like more criminals or whatever.
Right.
Like, you got people just like, oh, power's out, just breaking windows and stealing
riot
crap.
is what I'm saying.
It's not necessarily a riot. They're just taking the opportunity.
I'm not calling
Rioting
riot by a
is
technical
like
term. It's just they gather basically in a mass and just start fucking shit up. Like,
yeah.
Oh well, no, I can't say that.
Because rioting usually has a purpose. Like a riot, like is called a riot in the sense like it's for a purpose. It's to get the attention of whoever like they're trying. Like it's a goal to get somebody's attention. Like, which is why you have a riot. When you have some where just people are just randomly like, you know, seizing the opportunity to do crap. That's just
purging. No, I'm just kidding.
Binging and purging.
Yeah, right.
This is one of my favorite Cards Against Humanity cards. Literally just says binging and purging. But no, the word I was going for is when you just have people doing all of that crap just because they can, and they just want to seize the opportunity while they can, everything becomes chaos.
I'm an agent of chaos. But yeah, no. I'm just saying, maybe us losing toilets collectively as humanity.
Oh, I would lose my mind if we didn't have toilets.
Well, maybe it wouldn't be like complete transformation to barbarian yet.
It wouldn't happen like
But
immediately.
when you lose your electronics, you lose your entertainment, you lose your distraction. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
People would go crazy if the entire world went at like on some sort of like what's the fucking name of that charge? The electrical EMP. If there's a fucking EMP
if there's a
blast
massive
to cover,
EMP that just covers like the entire country, like and everything's just
everybody
off.
would fucking lose their minds. They seriously would. They couldn't turn their lights on. They couldn't turn on their fucking AC. They couldn't do any of that shit.
They would initially, but the thing about it, like, if it was like just an EMP and it just like, you know, took out things or whatever, like that's still just a temporary problem. Because the thing is like, well, like with the way people are nowadays with this, like how we all developed a higher intelligence now. It's like we're like the Neanderthal, where like all we did was hunt, gather, just basically just survived in the world, and then like as we evolved, you know, we got more intelligent, and so now we got people like people inventing things, like all this stuff, like people coming up with electronics, especially nowadays, you know, all this stuff. So an EMP knocks out all of the technology in the country. Not gonna last very long, because those minds who came up with the technology that we got and spent years in like their colleges, universities, and everything studying up on this, that's basically become their career.
Well, the thing about
will end up being like, don't worry, we'll fix it.
It wouldn't
and
just
they'll
be
basically just reassure the public.
It wouldn't just be an EMP blast by itself. It would be an accompaniment to like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
Right.
Let's just say that instead. Like, you know, just a nuclear bomb just wipes out like most of the country. Granted, it's a nuclear bomb. Most of the people are dead, but yeah, everybody freaking panics.
What's that?
Loses their mind.
What if they dropped a Tsar Bomba right in the middle, the dead center of the United States, just to see how many people fucking died, dude? That would be crazy. A Tsar Bomba. One of the biggest. You know what I'm talking about?
I have never heard of Tsar Bomba. What the hell is that?
The Tsar Bomba.
Is this an actual bomb?
Yes. The mushroom cloud of Tsar Bomba, seen from a distance of 161 kilometers. The crown of the cloud is 65 kilometers, which is 40 miles high at the time of the picture. That is a gigantic fucking mushroom cloud. It's gigantic.
Tsar Bomba. What?
Read its megaton rating. It's one of the highest, if not the most damaging nuclear bomb.
Where does it show that? Is it
Let me
down? Oh, yeah, hold on.
Found it.
Mass 27,000 kilograms, which is 60,000 pounds. Length, diameter, blast yield 50 megatons.
50 megatons, bro. That's insane.
Tested on October 30th, 1961. And that was the actual picture that they took.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Here,
is.
I'll pull up more.
Ooh.
I'll pull up more pictures of the mushroom cloud.
I'm gonna have to put the picture of that. You'll have to take that picture to I'm gonna have to put that in the podcast. So y'all will be able to see this thing.
Look at this. Look at this shit, dude. This is crazy.
Was that
That's a Tsar Bomba. That's a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, I'm alright, so I'll put this in there. So actually right now you guys should be seeing these pictures of what the explosion from the Tsar Bomba looks like.
Fucking god. Look at this chart. On the left is Hiroshima,
Dude.
and Trinity. Now you see that circle in the bottom left? Those are those mushroom clouds.
Oh, wow. That is insane.
Yes. And you've seen Hiroshima's bomb. You've seen how big that thing is.
Well, yeah, everybody has.
The Tsar Bomba is not to be fucked around with, dude. You get the fuck out of there.
What?
Yeah, dude. That's what I mean. That's a Russian bomb.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you can see this and understand the magnitude of sheer destruction
Go on
and
Google
death,
and look up the
they're not
Tsar
gonna
Bomba.
have to.
TSAR.
They're seeing this right now. They're this picture's up here. They can see this. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whoever created that bomb is either one a evil genius of some kind, or two, he's just a complete madman who really just wants to see the destruction of the earth. Because that's too big for anything's own good. That's what?
You know what's crazy is that
Would literally irradiate the entirety of the United States, no doubt.
in Fallout they didn't use nuclear bombs. They used atomic bombs.
That's
Is the same thing.
it's the same thing.
I thought they defused
A-bombs
it a different way.
is a nuclear bomb. That's the whole.
It's a type of nuclear bomb. Okay.
It's just called an atom bomb because I can't remember exactly why.
It splits an atom in the
but
reaction.
the reaction is it's a nuclear reaction that happens basically, and it's but no, and it's not exactly what you think. It's not scientists have taken a microscope and they split an atom. There's no explosion or anything like that.
Yes,
it's a lot of other things that are happening inside
atom.
this bomb that they built that creates this nuclear explosion. So, I can't think of exactly why they called it the atom bomb, but I'm not sure exactly why. Because when you think of atom bomb, an atom is this so small, it's what makes up all mass. It's these tiny little particles, and then you have atomic. So you think atomic is like, oh, it's got to be small because it's atom. But for some reason, atomic and all that stuff is just got turned into being something of a great magnitude instead of being tiny like an atom actually is. Yeah, kind of makes no sense.
Yeah. I'm looking at why it's really called the atom bomb. So with an atom bomb, one atom of the unstable uranium-235 isotope is fired at high speed into another atom of U-235. The receiving atom has its nucleon split and dispersed with high energy in all directions. These each then strike another atom of U-235 and repeat the process, and very quickly, within a few reactions, you've got exponentially growing chain reaction. This all happens in an instant, and roughly 10% of the material is converted into this previously mentioned unfathomable amount of energy. Hence, you now have a bomb that is thousands of times stronger by weight than its TNT equivalent.
That is...
It's called an atom bomb because the splitting of an atom is where energy comes from. So literally,
but it's also...
it's a bunch of atoms splitting, basically.
But like you said, so probably also why it's an atom bomb, like it, as it literally just said, well, like one atom of the uranium, and like they basically
235,
it's basically correct. like inside they created like a miniature particle accelerator, but and the particles that just happen to be accelerating is just freaking uranium like clashing like into each other, and like all that stuff happens.
I wonder how they fucking work around uranium, dude.
In hazmat suits all the time. But yeah, maybe that's why that first bomb it's just called an atom bomb, because of the small quantities of the uranium being used, like insane small like amount, but like even just that tiny amount like creates that big of an explosion. So as each different bomb progresses in size and everything, all they're doing is just increasing the amount of uranium being used. I guarantee it. That's probably what it is.
Fucking picture of uranium, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane, dude. It's just green with radiation. That's fucking ridiculous.
It's an element not to be messed with.
Oh, it's like pure uranium, dude. What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
It comes in little rocks. It's a metal.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is fucking crazy.
Didn't you pay attention in science class?
I didn't give a fuck.
You didn't have a teacher that was so obsessed with the destruction of the earth and creating bombs and everything like that?
Yeah, no, I went to I went to
actually, Mr. Young was a weird
Mr. Young, goddamn.
Like somebody was sleeping in the class like while he was teaching, and he literally takes his giant like the meter stick and whatever, like he had like a giant like protractor, which was like, but it was more like a ruler. It was a protractor with like the measurements on it and everything. So like part ruler, half protractor, whatever. Yeah. But it was more.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
And it wasn't actually made for angles. It was like an actual triangle. So basically, he held the two together, and it looked like the stock of a rifle and the barrel. So this kid's sleeping right in the front of the class, and like once he notices his head's down, he just takes both of those things together, makes it look like the rifle, and he just like aims it at him. He's like, "No, sorry, I'm not allowed to do that." It's like, what? It's like, well, no, duh, you're not allowed to shoot your students.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm actually not allowed to do that.
I'm not allowed to do that. It's like, oh, you don't say. He would drop the bowling ball on the floor, like, all the time, just demonstrating, like, force or gravity and everything like that.
Yeah. Man, you're talking about, I'm going to tell you about two different teachers, okay? Mr. Tyner, who I had for anatomy, okay? This man, we were talking about menstrual cycles in class. I don't know if I ever told you this or not. But basically, he was always joking around, and he kept a straight face. He never laughed at any of his jokes, but he was joking, obviously, because, you know what I mean? Everybody laughed, and sometimes he'd be like, It would be so good. It would
kind of like Dr. Hebert in The Simpsons, just that kind of subtle look.
Right. It would be so unavoidably funny that he would have to laugh because he was striking genius. So one time we were talking about menstrual cycles, and he was like,
why?
And he's like, a more polite word, or rather, sorry. He said a less polite word to talk about this would be talking about being on your period or your rag. And then he said, and then he turned to me and he was like, sorry, Zach. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what do you mean sorry? I literally had no idea where this was going at all, but I could tell it was probably a setup. You know what I mean? It was one of those.
I know exactly where you're going. So he's just like, sorry, Zach. He's basically saying like, you were on your period.
So, right, no, I'm telling you, bro. He said to me, what the fuck did he say? He's like, oh, I thought you were, literally, I thought you were on your period. Quite fucking literally. Like I thought there was something deeper to it. But the entire class was like erupting in laughter just because of that sentiment that I would be on my period.
You sit there just like dumbfounded, just like, what?
For real.
It's like basically just in shock. Like, did I just get roasted by my own teacher?
That's teacher number one I want to talk about. Number two is my chemistry teacher, sophomore year, Mrs. Stark. I don't know if it's Mrs. or Miss, whatever the fuck. Who cares?
Who cares?
Don't give a fuck forever.
Get on with it.
So she would be like, can you please do the assignment, please? And I would just be like in there not giving a fuck, just chilling. And I don't worry, I am not trying to glorify being a fucked up person in school, going to class and not paying attention, or just skipping class altogether. I would not.
Yeah.
I'm not glorifying that.
Yeah,
at
a
all.
little public service announcement, kids.
For the record,
stay in school, do your work, don't become a low life, washed up, freaking idiot. Don't be a jerk.
Just follow your dreams. Do not sell drugs. Do not sell drugs. Okay, and go the fuck to school. You know what I'm saying?
And for heaven's sakes, use protection.
But speaking of chemistry teachers, we got a dead one.
Which one? Oh
yeah.
I know where you're going with this.
Now you see, I've been waiting.
But is he dead though?
I've been waiting.
Yeah, he's dead. 6
fucking years.
He is so dead.
6 fucking years to see what Jesse's legacy would be after the show. Where the fuck he's going in that car. And on October 11th, El Camino will be available for streaming on Netflix. El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. I want to talk about this a little bit. The trailer dropped,
which I finally watched
a couple days
for the
ago.
first time. Like I didn't watch as soon as the trailer came out like you. So.
Oh, dude, I was like, what the fuck when I saw that it came out.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days after another one that had dropped for the Emmys. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, like I even told you about this. Like what I like about the trailer for this movie is that you don't really get much from it as far as like, they make a lot of movie trailers where they basically kind of like give away the whole plot and what happens in the trailer.
But Vince Gilligan's smarter than that.
He is smarter than that, especially with the fan base from Breaking Bad. Like, people had to wait until like each episode to find out what's happening. That's the great thing about like TV series is that you gotta tune in for the next episode to find out what's going to happen next. And so movie trailers, like you gotta have the trailers. You gotta promote it and all that stuff. So what I like about this is that the trailer is literally nothing but music and showing very small, like 1
Quick
to 2
clips.
second little images of these scenes throughout the movie, which give you nothing, and then the only dialogue that happens like in the trailer is just
literally it's just
There's one guy just says, "You ready?" And then Jesse just says, "Yeah," and that's it. And then the trailer's done.
Yeah, man. Look, written and directed by Vince Gilligan, man. He has not let us down yet with this fucking series. Not a single bad episode of that fucking show. Not one. The writing is flawless from start to finish.
Yeah. The what I was talking to you about it. Somebody somewhere had like been saying something that Bryan Cranston and what's his name? Play Mike.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah, Jonathan Banks and Bryan Cranston were also a part of this production. But like with both of their characters being dead, it was like I found it hard to believe. But apparently they were part of the production in some way. So I was like, the only way that I could think this possible is like it's probably either like Jesse's seeing them, like kind of like how a lot of movies portray like some people seeing ghosts or whatever, and they're like talking to them. So I'm thinking like Walt is probably like a ghost that's just following him now, and he sees him like from time to time.
Yeah.
And Mike's probably wouldn't be a ghost, because he wouldn't be like the main one that would be haunting him. It would probably be Walt. But
good way to
Mike would probably just like flashbacks or something like that.
Good way to spin off from the conversation we had the other day and add your own flavor to it, because you were saying like you had proposed the theory that you might see flashbacks that you didn't see in the show, but happened in real time and in the days of Heisenberg. You know what I mean? Yeah,
like so like non-important stuff, you know, like maybe like Jesse starts thinking back on like certain things where like as far as like the series, you had all this stuff like they were following a story with the series, so like they had to have like important events happening throughout. But maybe there was something that like they could just like kind of bring in that's a new little thing that is kind of like helping define Jesse's character. You know, maybe he just thinks back on something Mike said or something Walt said like a long time ago that wasn't in the series, you know, just a random little moment, like maybe out of that like whole time like span of months and months where literally day in and day out they would go in and cook. And so you'd have those montage scenes in the series, like you don't know what they're talking about like during those times and everything like that, so maybe like, you know, conversations in there, I don't know. That's just an idea, you know. Maybe it's just a little bit more character development of Jesse with like the whole conflict with him, like that you've seen throughout the show, and you're probably going to see a lot more of in this movie.
One of the things that I would like to point out that I saw in the trailer was the meth lab where Jesse was a slave, you know, on Jack's plantation. It is compound. I don't know why I keep saying it. I don't know why I keep saying that. Jack's compound, and
I think it was because you just referred to Jesse as a slave, so maybe that's why you used the word plantation.
No, I've been doing that. I guess it's for the same reason, but yeah, I don't know.
I can see the word association. It's not meant in that way at all, but it was the word association.
Never,
you know?
Definitely not. We love all people on the Craigie Pariahs podcast. All people are loved. Okay.
Except Josh.
No, fuck.
Who is not here?
Oh, Josh,
today,
right? Yeah.
By the way.
The topic of Josh has now come up in a perfect segue. Josh.
We don't have to point out the segue. We just have to point out that he's not here.
Yeah. Well, Josh.
Even though they already know he's not here.
Josh, if you are hearing this, Alright? Just know you are still a craggy pariah. Alright? Do not think that you are out of this group by any means. I just happened to be on an impromptu visit because I live in South Florida, about 240 miles away.
We have nothing to apologize for. He gets it.
Yeah, I don't want him to be like, why did you let me? You know. So, you know, how he does it in his little bitch way. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding, dude. Please.
Jeez, you're just gonna roast Josh, like.
Yeah, I mean, I apologize. Now he gets the roast. All right, you gotta have the duality.
You only roast the people you love.
Exactly.
I just lost my train of thought because of that crap.
Well, we were talking about El Camino.
Oh yeah. But what was I saying? It was we were talking about how you called it a plantation, not a compound.
Yeah.
But my point was like the reason you called it was like word association because like you referred to like basically Jesse was dude's slave.
He
like,
was
the whole time.
right.
So you just had that little word association. You know, Jesse was a slave, so the place was a plantation.
Yeah, I mean Netflix and the deep pockets, man, they've been really, really delivering when it comes to the content that they've been releasing. You know, their original content, Netflix originals. I especially like their sensibility when it comes to independent stand-up comics. I want to talk about that a little bit. Bill Burr, Paper Tiger.
Oh.
Joe Rogan, Strange Times.
But basically, not even like
Ron
just
White.
these specific ones. It's just all of them in general.
Yeah.
Like even some of these guys that you like have probably like never even heard of in your life, and so you're just like, oh, this is interesting, and I don't know about them. You just turn it on, you know, and it could be hit or miss. You could either find them funny or you don't. It's just,
You ever heard of Chris D'Elia or watched
I
his
love Chris
stand-up?
D'Elia.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, my friggin' love when he like brought up the whole thing where he like played in like there was like only like a couple people like in this venue that he like did a gig at. It was like 4 guys at the bar, all turning like towards the bar, like facing away from him, and one like really weird looking lady or whatever, like sitting in the middle of the room at one of the tables, and he said something like she said something or whatever, and he ended up like called her Blanca from Street Fighter.
Oh my gosh.
And she just got mad and like rushed the stage
Oh my
and
Lord.
tried to attack him. And he's like, oh, I sure hope nobody calls me Blanca today.
One of my favorite.
It was hilarious, dude.
One of my favorite fucking stand-up comics, with a good couple of stand-up specials, is fucking Tom Segura. You ever listen to his stand-up?
I think I've watched one of his specials.
Bikes. That shit is amazing, dude. Flawless. He says, "I love Scared Straight. If you don't know what that is, it's a show about, you know what I mean? It's about, he talks about the penitentiary or whatever, you know, kids aren't behaving, they're like stabbing other kids and shit, you know. He's like, they're not spitting spitballs. These are fucking badass kids. They're fucking stabbing people." And he's fucking talking about how this one inmate was like strolling in front of him, and he picks out this kid in line who's got a fucking bowl cut. He says he's got a bowl cut in prison, and he like literally like ate the mic when he said that.
Oh my god!
And basically, this one inmate pulled this bowl cut kid out of line, and he goes, "Hold my pocket, hold my pocket," and he pulled the inside of his pocket out, and he's like making him walk around with it and shit like that, and he's talking about how he's gonna make you suck his dick for breakfast and shit like that. And so basically he asks this kid, and he's like, you know, "Why are you here?" And he goes, Stealing? What? Or no, he goes, "The fuck you took." And then the kid says, "Bikes?" And then the guy says, "Bikes!" And he says,
oh my god.
yeah, it's an amazing fucking bit, dude.
Oh my god! Like, we're not gonna sit here and like just go over like each different comics material. Like, basically the point we're getting to about Netflix and their stand-up specials and everything is that they're like providing another new platform for comedians to kind of get put out there a little more.
Yeah.
Because like, there's a lot of them on there that I've never even like heard of.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, I didn't even know did stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Who were like actors that I've seen as well. Like, I didn't know Ray Romano did stand-up for some fucking dumb reason. I guess I should have done my research.
That time. He was a comedian, like, first and foremost. And then he had the show.
I wish fucking Bill Hader did stand-up. I wonder
he doesn't?
I didn't know. I don't know if he does. I've never seen him.
He does.
Okay, bro.
I guarantee you he does. I'm pretty sure he's talked about it on Fallon or something like that.
The next Netflix special needs to be Bill Hader, and I just want to see what the darkest corners of his fucking mind have to go.
The way you got to think about it is like, generally, most people you see doing comedy, especially on like Saturday Night Live, like, or anything like that, majority of them, probably like 95% of them, have done or do stand up as well.
What's that?
Like Adam Sandler does. Like, think about all the people who were on SNL. Adam Sandler did it. Rob Schneider, I'm pretty sure, has done some stand up shows. Probably hasn't had any specials, none that I can recall.
No.
Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy.
My favorite fucking...
Steve Martin.
My favorite fucking SNL audition was Will Ferrell.
Well, yeah,
I'm a werewolf!
Will Ferrell's was great. The freaking dad at the barbecue. Get off the goddamn shit!
Yes.
It's freaking priceless. But, yeah, Netflix, like, pretty good with, kind of giving these people, like, more exposure. You quit drinking Alyssa's orange juice, man.
Just pouring a little bit in there. Leave me the fuck alone.
Like, she was the one who specifically requested the OJ.
Well, little did you know, it's my favorite fucking drink.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes.
And now she's gonna hear this at some point and be like, he was drinking my orange juice.
Well, when that day comes,
what next?
Alyssa,
Are we
shut
gonna
the
just
fuck up? When that day comes, Alyssa, I'm sorry. I had to drink it. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay. I'm about to eat her ice cream.
Well, good. Make me a bowl. No shit.
No, that would probably be the one item where it would, like, she would storm through the gates and be like, like Godzilla, just demolish everything in her path. And the ice cream.
So, talking about Netflix and all that shit, the quality.
Yeah.
The quality of television, movie, whatever fucking visual streaming.
Yeah.
Some movies are coming out and have recently come out that have blown my mind and are on both Netflix and in the theaters.
Yeah.
Even though the theaters is sort of slowly dying out. You know what I mean? People go to the movies no matter
it
what.
was like when Netflix first started, Blockbuster went out of business.
I think the next thing to go out is going to be movie theaters. Because if movie theaters, there's going to be a very small number of them that probably still exist, but they're not going to be kept for the public. They're going to be kept for like a few people who want to fucking go. You know, the minority, because the majority of people stop going to movie theaters if they can just stream it. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain movies that you can't stream, and those exclusives force you to go to the theater if you want to go see it. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, usually people are not motivated to do that, except for a very small few who are passionate about going to the theater, like Quentin Tarantino loves fucking films.
You know, you bring up like a good point. I really do agree. I feel like at some point, like filmmakers are just gonna have to realize that, like, or actually, really, just the what is it? These movie studios. They're just going to have to realize, like, Netflix is just has been.
They need to start
taking over the entire industry of film and TV and all of that. So eventually, all these like television networks, they're gonna have to just be like, move out of the way, move aside, because Netflix is coming through.
Let's say that you are an excellent writer.
Well, maybe not network television.
But let's say that you're an excellent writer of TV, movies, shit like that. You can write a screenplay and it will blow a motherfucker away.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you bring that shit to a studio and they're gonna try to fuck with it and interfere with it. They need to give artists more creative liberty. Because if they don't, Netflix fucking will. Hulu will. Amazon will. All these original... those three by themselves all have original shows. YouTube has originals. You know what I'm saying? Everybody now has originals.
All of these media streaming sites, they've taken over everything. And so, like, I can't even... Like, the last movie I went to watch in theaters was... crap, what was it?
The next one I know I'm gonna watch is Joker, but continue.
I mean, well, that's you and me though, like, but generally, like, actually, I want to know some of everybody else, because actually, that's, you know what, that's what it is. That movie theaters probably will not go out of business because of the fact that it takes time to, you know, finish the process. It takes time for things to go to DVD. It takes time for things to be put to digital form and be put
you're
on
right.
to
It's
things
just,
like
well,
Netflix.
okay.
And so before that time, the only way you can see it is in the movie theaters, like with the film or like everything like that.
I'm not saying that, like, in the foreseeable, as in the next 10, 20 years, they're going to go out of business, but eventually... they will be. The advances in technology are going to be so... Nobody's going to give a shit, except for the traditionalist people who know the feeling of film and know the feeling of digital and shit. It's
basically going to become just for, like, you know... Either it's just going to become, like, something that's, like, so cheap...
Right, they turn it into a dating thing. Like centered around dating, or something like that, or around going out. You know what I mean?
Maybe not even that. It's probably just going to become like a freaking like when was the last time you have actually seen or been to a drive-in movie theater?
Dude,
I have only been to a
swap shop.
I've only been to one drive-in movie theater, and it was once, like, years ago in Hyde Park, New York. Like, just the middle of freaking upstate New York. Just
fucking crazy.
Like, that was the only drive-in movie theater I had actually seen with my own two eyes, and actually we went and watched a movie. I can't remember what movie we saw.
Me and my dad and Olivia used to go to the drive-in theater at the Swap Shop. It's in South Florida. It's like this big fucking flea market that's like the size of two college campuses, bro. It's gigantic. It's fucking huge. But basically they had a drive-in theater and a whole area for shopping and stuff. But all you heard is... Hold on, bro.
Oh my god. You can remember the music that was just going on. I can't remember things like that. I can't remember, like I said, like we went to that drive-in movie theater. I can't remember what movie we saw.
This is the music from, it says, our feature presentation.
That would pump me up to start watching a movie. But then again, I am a fan of Tarantino and everything. So and we did. That's the last movie we saw in theaters. It was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that movie. Why don't we? Like, whatever critic it was who said that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is the best screenplay that he has ever read.
In 25 years of his career or some shit like that. It was one of the producers.
And, he literally said, like, best screenplay he's ever read, like, in his entire career. It kind of shows in the movie as well. Like, it is phenomenal.
Yeah. It's
Quentin Tarantino has made probably is and will always be remembered as his greatest film.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Unless if he's going to do another movie like I believe he said he's going to do, if he can somehow top it with the next one.
Let me tell you something. Everybody always regards Pulp Fiction with this sort of look of like, oh, it's very violent and oh shit, overdose and oh shit, the
people who have certain like people who just believe like, oh, it's violent, it's drugs, and just people who have these certain views on like their own lives and everything like that. They won't enjoy a movie that includes all these
if you would let me finish my sentence.
Yes.
Basically, Pulp Fiction is always chalked up to be this violent, fucked up movie, when in reality there are some very beautiful things about the writing in the script. It's like, there are some things that I didn't catch, my 10th time watching it, let alone my first, I've read the script a few times, see how it differs from the real movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty much on point the entire time, except for a couple of times.
Yeah, like the, what was it? So, I think Alyssa one time, like, just pulled up the script, like, for the scene when they're walking up to Brett's apartment. Mm-hmm. Literally how they're talking about, like, the difference, like, about, like, giving a woman a foot massage and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Literally, like, everything that was on the script and, like, in the screenplay, word for word is how they said it in that scene when they filmed.
He actually says in the script, it says, I'm a mushroom cloud layer motherfucker. Every time my fingers touch brain, I'm Superfly TNT. I'm the guns of the Navarone. In fact, what the fuck am I doing in the back? You're the motherfucker who should be on brain detail. We switching. I'm washing the windows, and you cleaning up this bleep skull.
Good choice with bleeping that word. That would not good.
Yeah, I wouldn't go ignorant. You know what I'm saying?
You wouldn't go like, yeah, what was like, fuck, who cares? Don't you go saying that word now.
I would never, ever, you fucking prick.
Anyways, I think we got a little bit of time left for this episode. Let's end it off with a little bit of story time or something like that. Last podcast, I told a little bit about some of my boot camp experience. You told about what was
my
like
marching band experience
at Bethune-Cookman. It was pretty interesting stuff. You got a story right off the bat?
You want me to go or you want to go first?
I mean, either or, man. I mean, if you got one, I got one that I think is like a pretty great.
You go
story.
ahead, because mine is gonna bring down the fucking house, bro. It's an insane story, dude. Yeah. Mine,
I don't know. We'll compare the stories.
Let's do it.
We can see.
You go first.
We can see which ones. Leave them laughing. Mine's very more comical, because this is like if Mom, if you're listening to this, you know these stories very well, and the only reason
she probably wouldn't be listening up to this point of all the cursing and shit.
The
cursing and shit. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Mom, please reassure Zach that you listen to this. Anybody, please reassure Zach that there are people listening. All of you need to just be like Fraser Crane and just let Zach know you're listening. Okay?
I hope y'all like the cussing, because I just can't help myself.
I mean, nobody really likes cussing. I mean, but that's an interesting thing. Is apparently there was some psychologists or somebody who study the brain or the intelligence and everything like that. Apparently, people who use profanity on a day-to-day basis, those are people who I don't know how they correlate this with intelligence, but it was apparently people who use profanity tend to be more towards the side of creativity and intelligence and things like that, a higher level of creativity and things like that.
Goddamn fucking right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but
it's true as fuck. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just kidding.
I
have
mean,
no idea.
I mean, I guess it's kind of true for you. I mean, you use profanity quite a bit. You are well talented with music and stuff like that. I mean, you play saxophone, you play drums. You're a hell of a writer. I mean, you wrote the general story for the first video we did together, Hopeless Crusade, which should we just put that on the channel as well?
I don't know, man.
Should we just say, screw it and...
No, you know what I think we need to do is additional editing to that. I think we need to do some color correction and some lighting, and we need to reshoot. We definitely need to
we just reshoot
we need to shoot it, dude, and fucking...
And actually...
you need a better camera to reshoot it. My camera is insane.
That, but also, we just gotta get some... non-copyright music and everything like that.
I can make some music in GarageBand that'll fit.
The
fucking...
See, that's why I bring up your musical skill. It's because I have none. The most I can do is sing to an extent, but it has to be something that has already been done, where somebody has to show me this is the key, this is the notes for each lyric you're hitting and everything like that, and then I'll be able to follow that. So my mom's actually written quite a few songs for church and everything like that, and I've actually sang them. I think it was my grandpa's birthday. We went and saw him, and just for his birthday, he really loved the music that my mom wrote for church and everything like that. It was one of his favorite things.
Is this your story?
No, it's actually not. I just went off on a tangent, but anyways, the story.
Yeah.
This is a really good family story. The only reason I know about the story is because one, there is video. This will be two parts. This is kind of two separate stories, and I'll just try to shorten them up as best as I can. It's two separate stories, all involving the same thing. For some reason, in our family, farts are a very notorious occurrence, and it's always some kind of joke that's to be made all the time, just because of our family. And anytime there's a good fart story, first one's involving my brother. He was 2 years old. They were at a restaurant, and farted, and my mom just goes "Oh, what do you say?" A little 2-year-old sitting in a high chair just goes, "I farted," but that's not the story. Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm just kidding.
So, for the first one, this one had been recorded, video evidence of the occurrence.
Yeah.
Because it was a big old family reunion. I don't think I was born yet. I think it was just my brother was born, as he was a baby, or maybe I was a baby, or whatever. I can't remember, but it was on the farm of in New York, on Long Island, where my mom and her brothers and sisters, where they grew up. And it was a big old family reunion, and they decided to take the big old family picture up against the barn. And so as they're getting set up for the picture, they're also recording video at the same time. Everybody's lining up, and while they're getting situated and everything like that, I think it was either my dad or my mom ended up farting, and they were like all the way on the end. They were like, and when you watch the video, they're all the way on the like to the left of the screen.
Yeah.
And I think it was my dad or my mom like farted, and so you see them like kind of in the video. They're like sitting there like looking at each other, like kind of whispering at each other, laughing a little bit. And everybody else in the family was downwind. And so you see them like sitting there just kind of chuckling to themselves, and the next thing you see was my Uncle Billy step out of the line for the picture. And my Aunt Mo was notorious for being blamed for the farts because she was most known for cutting the farts all the time.
Yeah.
And so even though it was not my Aunt Mo, but you just see my Uncle Billy step out and you just hear him go like, "Oh, Mo!" Like, it's just like leaves because the smell was so horrible. So that's the first one. Another one was my Uncle Tommy's wedding. And this story I only know about because my mom told me about it. My Uncle Tommy's wedding, my mom and my Aunt Mo, they're the youngest in the family. And so at my Uncle Tommy's wedding, they were the flower girls. They, like, I think my mom said she was like, they were probably like 5 or something like that. They were like really young. So like during the ceremony, it was in the middle of them doing their vows. And in a Catholic church, you got all the chairs, just these wooden pews.
Yeah, I know.
And I think, I can't remember if my mom said it was either her or Mo. It was one of them. During the vows, one of them just lets one rip. And it's one of those ones where you're sitting on the wooden pew and it's just, the vibration just reverberates and makes it echo even louder. And you're inside a Catholic church where the freaking acoustics just make it ring out.
Exactly.
like the angels in the sky just ringing off the rafters and everything. But like literally in the middle of my Uncle Tommy doing his vows, everybody hears the fart, but like when Tommy hearing the fart in the middle of his vows, as soon as the fart goes off, he just stops in the middle of his vows and just goes just starts cracking up laughing. It's like, how are you gonna be so like in the middle of like, you know, what's supposed to be like a great day in your life, you're doing vows at your own wedding, and you just have to stop for a fart just to laugh while you're looking the person you love dead in their eyes, like saying your vows.
That's so fucking funny, dude. Well, you've chosen fart stories for your last segment.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed poop jokes.
Here on the CP podcast, we talk about toilet tissue.
Toilet tissue. Right, yeah. What's your story?
I'm going to preamble this by saying that this is a story that I know for a fact happened before I was born.
It's a story of...
Shut up. This happened before I was born. It was sometime in the mid to late 80s. After both my uncle and my dad, brothers, were in they were in the army.
Oh, I think I know this story.
So, my dad was a medic. He was a surgical tech. He was, at the same time, a real badass. You know what I'm saying? He was getting, like, marksman level shooting and shit like that. But he was a medic. Because his knowledge of medicine was so intense by the time he had got into the army. Like, his knowledge of things is incredible. My uncle, on the other hand, Steve, is part of the 509th Infantry Unit, which is paratroopers. Mm-hmm. Fucking hard asses. So neither of them fucked around when it came to combat. You know what I'm saying? They knew how to hold themselves in a fight. Fresh out of the army, both of them, young, strong, both on their way to do great things. My grandmother, at this point, was still alive, their mom, and it was about mid-afternoon where the sun is in the sky, and it's literally at the angle at like 4 o'clock, where it's shining into the window, like under the awning. That's how low it is in the sky, right before the sky turns orange and starts to set at about 6 or 7 or 8. So my grandmother wasn't home yet from whatever she was out doing, work or errands, whatever it might be. And Steve came into the house and saw my dad sitting on the bed in the bedroom, doodling, drawing a picture. And my dad, he's an artist. He still paints to this day. But he was just sitting there in his own head, trying to focus on what he was drawing. And Steve walked in and he was like, "John, we got to clean this place up. Mom's going to be home fairly soon. You know, we got to make sure that it looks nice and ship shape before she walks through the door." So my dad looks up, kind of gives him a look in the eyes, and purses his lips in this way that I know only my dad would do, and I could fucking visualize it right now. And to interject real quick, I'm telling you this story orally the way that my Uncle Steve told it to me and David and anybody else who would rather listen to it on like 50 different occasions. So, and it's a great story. So he looks up at Steve, basically gives him that whole fucking look that I just described, and then he looks back down and very calmly continues drawing the picture, completely disregarding everything that Steve just said to him, like, we got to get up, clean the house. Nah, just fuck that, I'm going to draw, without saying it. So Steve approaches my dad, walks up to him, stands over him. My dad's in his shadow, and he's like, "John, put down the pad. We need to clean up." And this time my dad doesn't even look up, he just continues drawing the picture. So my dad lifts his pen from the paper, and Steve slides his hand onto the notepad with an open palm, just flat, flush on the pad. And all he does is literally close his hand and just crumple the fucking picture in one fell swoop and just rip it off of the notepad to a blank piece of paper and just fucking throws it. So my dad doesn't look up. He just kind of like stops and he just pauses there for a minute. And so Steve goes into, "John, get up. We're going to clean the house now." So my dad literally, this is what Steve said. My dad put the notepad down. He took his glasses off and he folded them nicely, put them down on top of the notepad, and like a fucking gazelle just popped up and smashed him in the face. Just kept boom, boom, just beating the fuck out of him like fucking Rocky.
Oh my God.
In the last scene of every Rocky film, and he just fucks people up. He is just beating the shit out of him. So Steve said he walked up to the bunk bed and boom, boom, smashed his head against the fucking frame of the bunk bed. Like, threw him down on the ground, was beating him up. Basically, he knocked Steve out cold, basically. So Steve said that he came to. He didn't even know how much longer. It didn't seem to him. It was still day outside. And he was upside down in the closet with his legs hanging like a V against the wall, and his back like fucking arched and fucking just like laying back like fucking Jesus, but like a real fucked up crucifixion. And his face was, his head was like cocked back to where his eyes and his vision, he could literally just see my dad sitting on the bed, continuing to draw his picture. Continuing to draw that fucking picture.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude. That's not. I thought for a second. I thought where that was gonna go was like after he like instead of like looking up at him where he just like stared. I thought he was just gonna start drawing the picture again.
Oh,
just like on that new sheet of paper.
That would have been.
And then Steve just gets even more pissed off.
That
And
would have been
throws the
so
whole
much
notepad.
funnier. That would have been so much funnier, dude. Because that would have made. That's a stand-up comic story right there, where he just continues, like he just draws the picture again. Nah, dude. My uncle Steve told that story to me maybe 100 fucking times my whole life, and that's just one of many.
That's insane.
But anyways,
I think that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. And we'll see you in the next one. Say goodbye, Zach.
Goodbye, and do it up, people. I love you.
Oh.
I love you.